Hey, I'm Lorenza, founder of the Gwen Group. This is Woman Behind the Brand, spotlighting garden route founders, entrepreneurs, and women in business. This is their story. Rightio. So welcome to Woman Behind the Brand, a video series where we get to know women founders, entrepreneurs, and women in business across the garden route. This is where we chat about the woman behind the brand, what she's built, what she's learned, and what makes her so good at what she does. So today I am joined by Sarah Osler. Sarah is a career well-being coach who helps healthcare, specifically healthcare professionals, create a career with less stress, more energy, and deeper fulfillment. Sarah, hello. But firstly, hello and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Lorenza.
Absolutely. It's absolute
I can
joy
tell
to
this
have
is going to be fun already.
I think so. Okay, so before we dive into this properly, I just want to ask you two questions. One might come as a bit of a surprise. So if you had a spirit animal, what would it be?
Ooh. Which animal would not be offended if I chose them as representing me?
Okay, keep that in the back of your mind.
I feel like some kind of dog.
Okay.
Like a playful dog. Like I'm thinking of like an Afrikaner dog who's like relatively plain, but like resilient and like playful and just like adaptable and
knows where its home is.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. A truly African dog.
Yeah. Okay. And tell me quickly, what is your one way to reset after a long day? Emotionally draining. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm home. Finally, I can close the door. What do you do?
Well, I guess there's two. The one would be probably to get home and then immediately go for a dance class, which is outside the home. But probably, so we live very close to the beach. So we typically go for a long walk on the beach when we want to just like release the day.
Yes.
And I'm
sometimes taking it outside, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Inside you go out.
Exactly. Because I guess I work inside all day. So then I'm like, actually my chilling is going out. But I guess if I did stay in, I'm a bit of a weird person in this way that I watch, I'm part of like a bunch of coaching programs and there's like call recordings and I actually watch that for fun. It's like my version of Netflix. I'm like, let me watch some coaching.
Yeah, coaching, recording of coaching.
Exactly.
Okay, that's
I don't think that's everyone's cup of tea, but for me, that's like, oh my gosh,
that's relaxing.
I get to chill and watch a coaching
like a signal that, okay, cool, I can just listen and learn and just,
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I think just in 2 or 3 sentences, tell us what do you do and who do you help? And also what led you to being here? I know that's kind of 3 questions.
Yes, the journey here. So I mainly focus on, I just call it career well-being because I feel like that kind of combines the areas that I work in. So I'm certified as a health coach, but in particular with regards to sleep, stress management, and recovery. So I tend to work with things like stress, burnout, people feeling like they can't switch off after work, those kinds of things. And so it tends to be well-being, but more related to our work, to our careers, to that sort of area. Because I tend to find if people think of health coaching, they think more like fitness, nutrition, things like that, which is not really my focus area. So it's well-being in this with this kind of lens. And then also my background is in chiropractic. I was a chiropractor for 7 years. So
Don't come near me. Don't come near me.
I was a gentle one, don't worry. I was a loving chiropractor.
So that was for 7 years in your previous life, can we say?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So my background is in healthcare. And then from a personal perspective, I got exposed to coaching and I absolutely loved it. Like it helped me with my own life crises. And I was watching a documentary one day and I saw, how kind of they have a speaker and then they have the title of that person underneath and it said health coach. And I was like, that's a thing? I didn't even know that existed in this world. And I'd always kind of had the sense of like, I'm not really sure if this is what I want to do as a chiropractor. Like I'd always had questions about that. And even
Mhm.
just seeing that title of like health coach, I was like, that just sounds like exactly what I should be doing. And so it always kind of like was in the back of my mind. And then I found this health coaching certification that was on stress management and recovery and sleep. And a lot of my patients at the time, I was practicing in the Netherlands at the time, and a lot of my patients were struggling with burnout. And so I was like, well, worst case, I just use it as something that helps my patients. But
Yes.
when I did the course, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is what I'm
Yeah.
meant to be doing. It felt so natural. It felt like this is it.
Oh, wow.
And then I made the career switch about almost 3 years ago now. I went full time into coaching.
Okay. Okay, cool.
And then because of that background as well, I specifically wanted to help healthcare professionals. But I do work
Yeah.
with people who are not in healthcare, but just because I'm from that world, I know all the
Yeah,
struggles. It's
makes
like,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of burnout and chronic stress and unfulfillment as well.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just a, a generalized thing with every single profession everywhere. I
Absolutely.
think there are so
Yeah.
many people that you could be helping and so many
Yeah,
touch
that's what I found because I was like, oh, I love helping healthcare professionals, and I started posting about things and like on stress and burnout and like work-life balance and boundaries and whatever. And I got so many messages from people who weren't healthcare professionals, like, this is speaking to me, this is resonating, this is helping so much. So I
points.
started to realize like, oh, it's not unique to
Mhm.
healthcare.
Yeah.
We have, of course, like our own unique struggles, which every
Mhm.
profession does, but there's also things
Scope.
that happen in many different, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like I'm
100%.
working in now with
Mhm.
some founders in the eco space, like climate entrepreneurs, which is a
Oh, okay.
completely different
Interesting.
group, but
Yeah.
I coach on the same stuff. It's like
Mhm.
there's like slight differences, but we all kind of struggle with the same things. So yeah,
Yeah, that sounds
definitely.
really interesting. That as a
Yeah.
niche,
Yeah.
that sounds really
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Tell me, Sarah,
Yeah.
tell me one of the things that's one of the, I don't like to say the biggest thing, but one of the biggest things that your journey as a, specifically now we're shifting into you as a business owner,
Mm. Mm.
has taught you. Um,
Yeah. For me personally, it was, I guess you could call it like thinking as a business owner, like having the mindset of a business owner and not just a practitioner. It's something
mhm,
actually that a lot of people in healthcare and related fields struggle with because we tend to be like, we learn how to do our job, but we don't
mhm.
really learn how to build a business. And so in my previous practice, when I was a healthcare professional and I had my own practice, I did not have a business owner mindset at all.
You love what you did and you could
Yeah,
do that,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I'll just, be good at what I do and people will just come.
Well, people will
And
come and the
so it
money
just
will
was a big
flow.
learning curve. Let's put it that way. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
discounted treatments, didn't charge this person, didn't charge that person, didn't have like
Mm,
financial goals, didn't have any of that like business owner mindset. And so I
yes.
think for me, the big lesson that I really had to learn was the way that I put it is like learning that you can have the orientation towards helping people
Mhm,
and have a business owner mindset, and they actually don't have to be in opposition with each other. Like
mhm.
actually they can fuel each other. If I'm having, goals for my business and I'm growing my business and I'm having more clients in my business, that actually gives me more opportunity to help people and impact people. So just like
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
the idea that those things are actually not in opposition, that they fuel each other was really for me a big, I mean, it sounds so obvious
Revelation.
now, but
Yeah,
it was such
and
a
a
big
happy
thing for
one,
me to learn.
because a happy realization, because
Yes,
I mean, perfect. Now you don't have to have the
exactly.
conflict. Would you, on a side note, was most of the did you learn most of these things just kind of on the job, kind of step by step,
Mm,
or would you say that doing like a professional, not a degree at this stage,
mm.
probably, but maybe a more formal course in kind of business stuff? I mean, I
Yeah,
know
for
it's a
me, it
little bit
was, I mean, this is maybe like because of what I'm exposed to more, but for me, it was more business coaching. So I had various mentors
okay
in that space and
already.
business coaches. So, well, when I decided that I wanted to start my own coaching practice, I did that while I was working, and I hired a coach who specifically helps healthcare professionals transition to coaching. So I was like, oh my gosh, perfect. And she was actually used to be a chiropractor as well. So for me, it
So
was more like finding someone who would help me with coaching through that, but also because that's the world that I'm in.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love
So
it.
that I found incredibly helpful.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, all right. So then the next thing was, So, what's something that you often teach your clients that you think could be helpful for all women in business? Now, we've already said that obviously, it's not specific. You're coaching at the moment the eco, what
Yeah, like
climate
climate
change,
space entrepreneurs. Yeah.
that kind of a space. And I think equally, if I was to be coached by you, it would probably be exactly the same. But um, yeah,
Yeah.
what is that one thing that you think could be helpful that you often teach
Yeah.
for the people listening?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's helpful just as a lens to look at things through is that we don't have to believe everything that we think. And what I mean by that is we tend to have a brain, or rather, we have a brain that tends towards protection and safety. So our brain is more concerned with us staying safe, staying in what's familiar, than
Mm.
us being happy and fulfilled and following our dreams. And so it's very natural as a business owner to have a lot of fears, a lot of doubts, a lot of insecurities, like fear of being visible, fear of failure, fear of rejection. Like all of those are so normal. Our
Mhm.
brain is like, oh my gosh, alert! We're doing something out of the ordinary. We're like risking being kicked out of the tribe. We're like all these
Yeah.
things. Your brain just has a very natural tendency to want to protect you, even though it might seem illogical to you. And so I think just understanding that helps us to see it as, oh, it's not something that is like uniquely flawed about me, or that I'm just not made to be a business owner, or that
I
it
resort to
actually
that
is.
fairly
Yes,
often.
exactly.
Oh, well,
Exactly.
it was just not meant for
It's
me.
just, yeah, exactly.
One of those things.
I'm just that special person who's just not meant for this. Yeah, exactly. Or we go to like thinking that it's just true, like it's a true representation of what's going to happen. Like we're going to have this huge fail. We're not going to be able to handle it. Everything is going to go wrong, and we're going to lose all our friends and like all the people that used to respect
Yes.
us. Like our brain just goes to worst case scenario. And then we think that that's the truth of what is going to
Mhm.
happen. And so just understanding that your brain is going to offer you a whole bunch of things that are designed to keep you where you are, keep you safe,
Yes.
keep you in the familiar. And
Mhm.
that's its main goal, just helps us to understand like, okay, I'm not crazy.
And I
And
mean,
this doesn't have to mean anything for my business owner journey.
if you survive, like I often hear people who've been in business 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they look back and they're like, well, wow, we had to go through
Mm,
this period of time. And perhaps to certain extent, because you always want to be growing, perhaps your brain is always going to be in some way challenging you, but you've got a bit more of a
yeah,
history behind
exactly.
you. And you can say,
Yes,
well, look how
exactly.
bad it was, and it's way better now.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I survived that. I think I'll be okay with this. Yeah. Yeah. But that's so true. Like at each level as you grow, unless you're completely saying exactly the same, your brain will always offer you at the new level. It will offer you new thoughts and new fears and new doubts and all of that. And just knowing that that's coming, just it helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then my last question for you today was, what role does this country play in your why and your sense of purpose? So when I say this country, obviously
Yeah.
I mean every country we're in South Africa. Yeah, in contrast to perhaps your life abroad and you returning here. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, yeah.
that all?
I think it's twofold. I think the one is a natural, like I've always just felt a very deep connection to the country, which not everybody has. So just
Mm.
acknowledging, that that is
Yes.
also the case. But I've always felt that sense of like there's something about the country that is related to like what I'm meant to do in the world and what I'm supposed to create and how I'm supposed to contribute. My family is a very contribution orientated family. And so
Okay.
that's what I kind of learned. That's the water that I
Yes.
swam in as I grew up, that you contribute to the environment that you're in, to the country that you're in, to other people's lives.
Great
And so I always
ethos.
had that kind of,
It's a great ethos.
oh yeah, yeah. No, it was amazing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that was part of it. Like I always just felt a very strong connection to the country. And then I think also I realized that we do something similar with the place that we live, that we do with our career, we do it with relationships, which is when things happen that are bad, we immediately go to like leaving or changing
Uh,
something. And then
yeah,
when
yeah,
things
yeah.
are good, we're like, okay, I'm going to stay. And we can almost end up with our relationships, with our career, with the city that we live in, with the country that we live in, we can kind of end up always being in the state of like deciding. And I just found,
I can
especially with my
relate.
career as well,
Yeah.
it's actually so relevant. But yeah, I found that in my career, like just how much I stayed in this limbo state of like not really fully deciding to leave, but also not fully
Yes.
deciding that I'm here and I'm staying. And I'm like, so it's not necessarily a comment on like, you always have to stay or that it's the right thing to stay or, and this is relationships, career, city, country, whatever it is. But it's almost like having this lens of I'm going to commit to my life, whatever that means. The good, the bad, the ugly, the in between. Every place that I'm going to be is going to have that. Every career that I'm in is going to have that. Every relationship is going to have that. I'm just choosing which version of that I want. Instead of, I think what our brain does is I want to look for the option that only has all the good stuff.
Yes.
Whether that's conscious or not, we look for that, like which has the least discomfort. And we end up with something that my coach said to me, like very early on when I was considering a change. She said, you want to think about running towards your lover, not running away from a bear. So instead of running away from all the things that you don't want,
Yeah. Yes.
think about what you do want and move towards that and be willing to go like accept or move through, deal with whatever comes with that option, but you're moving towards what you want rather than just away from everything that you don't want. So that's kind of how it ties into that as well.
I mean, it's just a completely different feeling, like in your chest, I can immediately, like running away from that going
Yes,
towards. You want to
exactly.
open
Yeah,
your
it's such a
arms.
different.
That's wonderful.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing.
exactly.
That's really
That's so
positive.
good. Such a pleasure.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, this was just a little short tidbit
Taster.
with Sarah today. Of course, if anyone's here and would like to connect with Sarah and her work, you can listen to her podcast, one of many, many different channels that she has. But it's called Thrive in Thrive in Healthcare. Is that right?
Yes, Thrive in
And we can
Healthcare.
find that on Spotify.
Yes.
I do.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
you can also find Sarah on the Gwen Group Collective, and we're having a lot more conversations like this happening over in the G Founders Facebook group. So yeah, the links in the show notes, and yeah, come and join us. So thank you so much, Sarah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That's
And
great.
oh yeah, we decided on it was an Afrikaans, right?
Oh, yes,
Are you
yes.
the same,
Yes.
going with that?
No, I think I'm going with that. It's actually because it's like the dog we're considering getting. So that was top of mind. So I don't know if it's more the dog I would get. But if I think of a different spirit animal.
Yeah, come and post it in the comments.
Yes, I'll come post it. Amazing.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Okay,
Thank you so much.
soon.
Thank you. Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.